Hey, Battle Bill here with another video, and today we're getting some more Master League Premier Cup Go Battle League battles. Alright, in the last video I showed you my go-to team. I really stressed everybody's running Togekiss leads these days, but as I was running Magnezone more and more, I'm starting to see some opposing Steel leads in the form of Metagross and other Magnezones. So what that told me was, you know what, I want to try something new. Again, if I showed you the same team over and over again, you guys would be bored, and I don't want to bore you guys. I want to give you as much unique stuff, whether I have success with it or it just completely fails. I just want to show you as much as possible. So I put together a team with a Swampert lead to deal with those steals, and I made sure it ran Sludge Wave because it's not going to beat Togekiss, but it can at least stress them out a bit, and you could play that matchup a little bit better. So today's video is going to be focusing on the Swampert lead. We're going to see what I ran into, and we're going to see if if I had any success. I speak English well, I promise, I really do. But let's see how the Swampert lead paid off for me. The team that I put together was Swampert with Togekiss and Metagross in the back, just to give the additional coverage of the Dragons, because that's what Swampert doesn't want to go up against. So, without further ado, I've done too much talking. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let's jump into the set and see how these battles went. Alright, so first match with the Swampert lead. Let's see what I end up running into. We got Swampert on Togekiss lead. Big surprise. Don't mind it too much. Gonna play it out to the best of my ability. I know Swampert loses this, but I'm not gonna swap, because what I learned quickly with the team that I put together here is I don't really have a safe swap. The two Pokemon in the back, most people are preparing to counter. So if you lose lead and I swap into Togekiss, there's bound to be a Steel type in the back. If I lose lead, swap into Metagross, there's bound to be a counter for Metagross in the back. So I learned that pretty quickly after putting together the team, but not beforehand. And I threw the Sludge Wave and they got the boost after the fact, but I got their shield at least, and I'm going to be able to do some chip damage, and I don't mind losing this and walking away with shield advantage, because now my Metagross can kind of essentially come in and try and farm the thing down, but they expected that, so they swapped into their Dragonite, and I have a nice counter for their Dragonite in the form of my Togekiss. Now, I just need to be careful. I don't really plan on committing to my Togekiss here whatsoever, so I don't shield. I'm fully expecting a Hurricane to come through, and Togekiss can tank it, but at least I'll be able to charm down this Dragonite. And now, at least Togekiss has an Ancient Power, but I'm going to be playing with Metagross and a 2-shield advantage, and just really hope they don't have some extreme Mud Boy like Excadrill or Mud Slap Rhyperior in the back, because then I save these 2 shields for no reason whatsoever. So, throw the Ancient Power, does a good chunk to there. Togekiss, I get the boost, but it is a little late at that point. I get like 1 extra charm through, but at least their switch timer wasn't up, so Metagross can come in and farm down. I kind of knew this wasn't an Ancient Power, but I got worried, and I don't count charms. I really need to, but I don't. And they actually were able to kill out their switch timer so they could swap out and not let me farm completely. And you would think using that shield would cost me, but because I was able to farm enough and I still have another shield for my Metagross, I'm going to be able to get to 3 Meteor Mashes here, which is all I'll need to beat out this Gyarados. What I also think happened with my opponent is, with all the waterfalls they threw, they should have gotten the 2 Aqua Tails, which would have been enough to beat me. So unless they're just not running Aqua Tail, they committed to a complete waterfall down, which was a huge mistake on their part, because again, it allowed me to get these 3 Meteor Mashes off, take out their Gyarados. Togekiss is going to come back in, I'm going to Bullet Punch it once, and I'm going to take this first match after essentially losing lead. Getting into the second match of the set, let's see if I can get that Steel lead that I'm looking for. And we end up with the Swampert on a Dragonite lead. Not exactly what I was looking for, and this is essentially like worst case scenario for Swampert in Master Premier, because you're not really seeing any grass types. Props to you if you're trying to pull off a grass type Master Premier. But Dragonite pretty much hard counters it, but running Sludge Wave is one positive in this situation, because if you ran Earthquake, then you'd be dealing nothing but resisted damage, whereas with Sludge Wave, you can deal some neutral damage, but you're still losing to this Dragonite no matter what. I have no intentions of committing a shield, because again, I lost lead, so I might as well just try and get this Dragonite as low as possible, and then essentially bring in Metagross to farm up and maybe, well, not have shield advantage, because it's going to be a 2-2 shield tie. But at least the Dragonite's now in the yellow, and honestly, I do kind of have to worry about and respect the Hurricane. So when I bring in my Metagross here, I'm going to end up committing a shield. I could go Togekiss, but building up extra energy on Togekiss is kind of like a moot move, because of the fact that it's Charm and you're really not generating much energy anyway, and you're getting all the way to like an Ancient Power. So I'd rather Bullet Punch down a Dragonite and try and have a Meteor Mash ready for whatever their counter is, because it's bound to come in, and that counter ends up being Gyarados. And what stresses me out here is that if they have Dragonite and Gyarados, I fully expected their third Pokemon to be a Metagross, and losing lead here essentially just lost me the match. Ended up being a pretty RPS match. I do end up playing this one out. I've tried to go for the Flamethrower to grab a shield and hope maybe that'll make a difference, but I had no intentions of using a shield to try and get a shield, so I let my Togekiss go down, and I think I just play this out, but I do throw these Meteor Mashes. I don't remember how much I played this match out, but I knew essentially that I had lost this once that Metagross came in. So essentially, issue here is couldn't do too much with this team in this situation. If I'm leading Swampert, I lost lead to Dragonite, I swap in Togekiss, gets matched by the Metagross, I swap in Metagross, it gets matched by the Gyarados. It was going to be GG no matter how I decided to play it. So this was just one of those situations where I got out team comped, GG to my opponent. Getting into this third match, will I be able to find that elusive steel lead that I was talking about and I promised existed before? No, we got a Togekiss again. But we don't mind this as much because of the fact that, again, we can throw Sludge Waves at it, and we can try and do what we did in the first match, which is get one of their shields, and then get Charmed down and bring in Metagross and kind of like give it shield advantage and get a bunch of energy from their Togekiss. But my opponent actually does something really smart here. First, I try to bait, and they don't shield, which was one of the smart things that they did. The next thing is I go for the Sludge Wave here, and we're going to find out they decide to shield it. So they're playing this really well, and they commit to a Charm Down, whereas my opponent in the first match threw the Ancient Power, which allowed my Metagross to come in a lot more comfortably. My Metagross is going to come in here, and after they farmed up all that energy, I have to respect the Flamethrower, and I have to use a shield, so I really don't have a shield advantage. And then they swap into their Magnezone, and I can't bring in Togekiss to deal with this, so I gotta really hope that they're expecting a bait here, and I can one-shot their Magnezone with an Earthquake. But I know I play with my Magnezone really scared, so I should have expected that shield and just gone straight for the bait. And because of the fact that I threw the Earthquake and they shielded it, it puts me in an even worse position. I know this is a wild charge. I know it's not going to take me out, but I figure I have to shield one of them. You got to respect it. The next wild charge is going to come through, and at least in this situation, they're double debuffed, so I can go for Meteor Mash and almost take them out, but the issue is, again, Meteor Mash is resisted, so we're going to see how much this Meteor Mash is going to do to the Magnezone. It gets them in the red. I felt like they were in Bullet Punch range, but they got to a Mirror Shot, which will do enough damage to take out my Metagross. My Togekiss can come in and Charm Down, and what I really need to hope here is that they have a Dragon. They do not have a Dragon. They have a Snorlax, so my last win condition in this situation is throw the Ancient Power, pray for the boost, and win that way. So they go for a charge move. This was definitely a body slam. They're just going to body slam spam me and then bring in their Togekiss when they can to charm me down. I could have also like thrown the Flamethrower, charmed down, and hoped to have gotten to another Ancient Power, but I didn't see that as being a reliable way to win because of the fact that they're going to get to another body slam here, and if I would have Flamethrowered, it wasn't going to do that big difference in health that Snorlax had at the end. So they bring in their Togekiss here, charm me down, ends up being GG for the second match. Currently 1-2 in the set. Swampert lead isn't paying off the way I was hoping it would. Alright, getting into the fourth match of the set. Will I find that elusive steel lead? I will not. I will find another Dragonite. So I'm going to play this one different. I'm not going to lose it out like I did in the other match. I'm going to save swap into Metagross, which again, just got countered by Gyarados like I mentioned earlier. So I'm just like, you know, maybe I should run Psychic on my Metagross for this team comp, excuse me, so I can try and deal with these Gyaradoses. But like Metagross, even with Psychic in a shielding situation against a Gyarados, is just going to end up losing either way. Even if I land the Psychic, I don't think it gets it low enough to Bullet Punch. Maybe if I land it and then commit Bolt Shields, that would be the play. So maybe with this team comp, you want to try running Psychic so you could deal with these Gyaradoses and potentially use Metagross as a safe swap, because nobody's really safe swapping their Metagross to face your Metagross. At least I haven't really seen that. But a lot of people aren't safe swapping Metagross to begin with, so now I'm on a tangent. But I decided to shield because I was really hoping I could get off that energy. I get Waterfall down, and honestly I kind of just see how this match is going. I'm going to bring in Togekiss because they're obviously, I don't want to word this. I could bring in Togekiss, Because if I bring in Swampert, Swampert's going to take a lot of damage from all the waterfalls, and it's going to have a harder time taking out the Gyarados. And at least if I bring in my Togekiss, I can see if they had that Steel type and know if this is GG or not, because I obviously don't have switch advantage. But they have a Togekiss of their own here, and I'm like, do I have a win condition here? I can go for this Ancient Power. The boost isn't going to do me enough, so I swap, fully expecting a swap of their own. And I'm like, maybe if I do enough damage to their Dragonite, charm down their Dragonite and throw an Ancient Power at their Togekiss. But then I also have to get their shield. So this is already GG. This match has been over since their Gyarados faced my Metagross. But I'm like, maybe that's a win condition. So let's try it. So they decide, actually, after they throw that Dragon Claw, I guess they were worried about my Togekiss coming in, farming up, throwing an Ancient Power. I guess they were worried about that. They decided to stop attacking. This was not lag. This was completely calculated on their part, and you'll be able to tell in a second, because I stopped attacking for a sec just to check. I'm like, you know what? I realized this was calculated. Let me farm up to 2 Hydro Cannons, because I can throw one, take out the Dragonite, and then throw the next one and get that shield from their Togekiss. And you'll notice the charm animation. So they weren't lagging that entire time. They played that calculatedly. Calculatedly? Is that a word? But they were winning this either way. It didn't really matter. I got their shield, which was nice. And then I tried to swap to not give them that extra energy for my Swampert's health. They charmed me down completely. GG to them. 1-3. Can't find that Steel lead I was talking about. Getting into this 5th match that is set, I'm bound to find a Steel lead at least once, right? Wrong. We got him a Machamp lead here, which actually really isn't a bad lead for me. I can just go straight Hydro Cannon and win out the 1 shields. I do need to be careful though, because I'm going to throw this Hydro Cannon here, and this Machamp is going to farm up a bunch of energy, which is then going to worry me that potentially they're running close combat on their Machamp and not just Cross Chop and Rock Slide. So they're going for the charge move. Got to respect the fact that this could be a close combat. I decide to shield, ends up being a Cross Chop bait, which is unfortunate, but I'm at another Hydro Cannon anyway, so this will now threaten their shield and will be an even shielding situation. Now it's just a race. I'm gonna fill up all the way to Hydro Cannon. We're gonna CMP. They're gonna win CMP, and I'm gonna hope that this is a Cross Chop, and I will survive with like 1 HP, which is just enough to win out this lead scenario. If you have a Hydro Cannon, if you have a Swampert with 100% IVs or higher IVs than mine, mine's a 96, it's definitely a little bit more comfortable of a situation against the Machamp, but they actually committed a shield to try and essentially win out lead, but like, I don't consider that a win if you're leaving with a 1 less shield. But regardless, they then swapped into Gyarados. I matched it with my Togekiss, and I feel pretty comfortable here because I'm fully expecting there to be a Metagross in the back. There's no way they have a Dragonite in the back, because then their entire team is weak to Charm, and their Gyarados is also running Dragon Breath, so I can tank these Aqua Tails and not worry too much. So I'm going to commit to a Charm down of their Gyarados. Once that expected Metagross, there it is, comes in, I'm going to throw a Flamethrower. This will do a nice chunk of health, put the Metagross in range for just a Meteor Mash, so I don't have to really overcharge against this Metagross. And what I can do is just try to outpace it to the Meteor Mash, so that I don't even have to use a shield either, which ends up being perfect. This Meteor Mash will take out the remaining health of their Metagross, and then the Machamp can come in, and even if it's running Cross Chop and Close Combat, which is moveset I have seen being used, I would still be able to Bullet Punch it down, and I do take this win and kind of salvage this set. I take 2-3s. It's my favorite negative set because it's obviously better than a 1-4 or an 0-5. But yeah, this season of Master Premier is the season of Togekiss leads. So what I'm going to recommend is go with a Magnezone lead. And if you are running into Steel leads, this team could work. A Swampert lead could definitely have success. But if you're not seeing any Steel leads and you're seeing Togekiss after Togekiss, and then when you're not seeing Togekiss, seeing Dragonite, it's definitely not going to set this team up for success. Not the best save swaps. You do have 2 Dragon covers in the back, but those 2 Pokemon do get countered by a lot of the rest of the meta. Like, a lot of people are prepared to counter it, so I don't know how much I would necessarily recommend this team. I do like a Swampert lead. It didn't look too good here. Let me know if you've tried out a Swampert lead and had success there, and let me know in the comment section if there are any other Spice Pokemon you might want to see me try out. So for me, Swampert lead, I'm not going to go back to. I'm going to stick with my go-to team, keep out running the Magnezone leads because everybody loves their Togekisses. So please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. If you want to see me, again, try out more Spice and do the rest of my battles, check me out on Twitch. I'm going to try and give that reminder as often as possible. If you've already gotten the message and want me to shut up about it, just let me know in the comment section. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next video.